Hey, I'm Stalnaker here in Davos. We're wrapping up the time here during Davos week. It's been an incredible set of stories and moments here. Joining me right now is David Ernst, who's the co-founder of something called Liquid US. We met here in the Ice House this week, and we started talking about something called liquid democracy. This is relevant to us with the launch of our new project, Propel, and it's relevant to you with something called Liquid US. Can you tell us what is this product or this service, and how does it affect or link to democracy?
Yeah, it's amazing to make this connection here. Liquid democracy is this proposed model for 21st century governance, rethinking the way that we can organize our communities and organize ourselves for more representation, more inclusion, less corruption, more knowledgeable policy, and more knowledgeable leaders. And it's based around this idea of peer-to-peer governance. And so there are a lot of people that have been captured by this vision and are working to make it a reality. It's really exciting to see Propel and learn about what's launching here. We've been working on Liquid US for US governance in public city councils, state houses, at the nationwide level. And very simply what we do is we provide a very easy way for citizens to connect with their representatives, to send in messages of support or opposition on any sort of decision that elected leaders are making. And we provide transparency around where the community feels about things, how much representatives are actually listening to their constituents, what are the best arguments for and against different decisions, and really trying to bring this process to be much more accessible and much easier for the modern world.
So this sounds like it's US focused, but it sounds a little bit like real-time democracy. So I've seen the platform, and it seems like what's happening there is you have all the, say, elected congressional representatives, for instance, and all the bills or laws that are being proposed coming into essentially a visible database. And then if you're a member, you can actually look at these and comment on them or even potentially upvote or downvote.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, so we start by saying there's all these instructions, call your congressperson, call your senator. And so we frame it, we start with that basic idea of you have an opinion on an issue and you want to make sure they find out about it. But then we want to make that visible to the whole community. So you can always control your own privacy settings, but if you want to be public, you can. If you want to be private, we verify that you're still a member of this community. And other people can come in and say, this is my favorite argument, why this is a good idea or why this is a bad idea, and endorse those positions. So it makes it very easy for elected politicians to be able to say, there's this huge sentiment in my community, why we should be doing that or why this is a bad idea. And we aggregate that all together in a really nice way.
So one of the objections to sort of the modernization of voting has been this idea that it's kind of difficult to know who somebody is on the internet. How do you guys get around this idea of multiple people voting for the same thing or other ways to kind of rig the system?
Totally, yeah, it's a super important problem. We have what we believe is an intermediate solution right now. It's better than what exists in the current system, and we want to continue improving it. So right now, when you email your representative or call your representative, they don't actually know necessarily that you're in their district. So they say, "Oh, give your address." In theory, you could not be truthful about that. And so we confirm people by their phone numbers, so we can cross-reference the name attached to your cell phone. It's public information, and then we also confirm that these are actual registered voters. And so we send all that information on to the representative so they can make that decision. And we want the entire system to be totally auditable. We want to have trusted verifiers to be able to cross-reference the records and do risk-limiting audits. And we've tried working with the official voting registrars as well. We've talked to a lot of the secretaries of state's offices across a number of states. And they're really interested in supporting this as well, but we need more legislation to make that interoperable.
A little bit more coordination.
Exactly.
So we're hitting kind of a lull in the election cycle right now in the United States, but of course all eyes are on 2020. So how do you see technologies like this impacting or shaping that election, and what other technologies do you think might be in place by the time we get to that voting period?
Yeah. Well, just stepping back even to 2016, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, said that his exact words were, "I would not have been elected if not for Twitter." And for better or worse, that's the reality of the world we need to recognize that we live in today. These tools have incredible reach, and they're in so many people's pockets. And so this is the world we live in, and it's only increasing. And it's really important that these are safe spaces where we know that these are real identities and actual Americans if they claim to be Americans, or French if they claim to be French, or just that we don't have fraud. And so we put that front and center in the Liquid US platform, whereas other options like Twitter or Facebook are struggling right now a lot with these questions of fraud that you're asking.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to verifiable identity.
Mm-hmm.
How do you verify these identities?
Yeah, so it's this very simple cross-reference of you state I am XYZ person, I live at this address, and I'm a registered voter. We cross-reference that with the public voter files, and then we also, one of our verification methods right now is that we can send a text message to your cell phone and look that up on the phone record. We're also working on other verification methods as well, like sending a postcard to your physical address that has a unique code on it. That works really great. It's a little bit slower, it's a little bit more costly, but that's another option.
Slower.
Yeah, and then someone just proposed a really great new method that we need to start exploring of using college email addresses. So a lot of people have first name, last name @.edu email addresses. So our philosophy is just, we want to do the work we can to verify and then pass that along to the representatives so they can also say, okay, this is trustworthy or not. And they already have all these issues when they're hearing constituent feedback from citizens. So we're trying to make the process easier.
That's great. So real-time feedback on the governance process, real-time feedback on democracy in the US. Thanks so much for joining us here, David, and I hope you have great success as this rolls out across the United States.
Thank you.
Thanks.
It's been great.
I'm Stan Stalnaker with Help Culture, wrapping it up here in Davos.